Bob Gibson, the greatest Cardinals pitcher ever, turned 80 years old in early November. That seems hard to believe, but it doesn't seem that long ago that he posted that ridiculous 1.12 earned run average and also struck out 17 Detroit Tigers in the World Series. But in fact, it was almost 50 years ago, in 1968, that Gibson achieved both those feats. The result of Gibson's great season and the hitter's inability to make any contact with him was that the height of the pitcher's mound famously was lowered from 15 inches to 10 inches the next year, and that's where it remains today. As great a pitcher as Gibson was, he might have been the Cardinals' most intense player ever also, because on days he pitched, he rarely talked to his own teammates, let alone players on the opposing team. Whenever a catcher, often battery mate Tim McCarver, would go to the mound to discuss something or dare make a suggestion, Gibson would say, "The only thing you know about pitching is that you can't hit it." Mike Shannon, Cardinals broadcaster, was moved from the outfield to third base in the mid-'60s. He was kind of nervous about where to play, and he went in before the start of one game to ask Gibson where he should play a particular hitter or a series of hitters, and Gibson said, "Don't worry about it." And Shannon says, "What do you mean?" He says, "I won't let him hit the ball to you anyway." Historically, Gibson was also just as charming, apparently, to reporters, although for some reason in 1973 he took a liking to me as kind of a piece of fresh meat, and we got along pretty well. I guess so well that I was assigned to go to Omaha, where he lives and grew up, 1981, to do a long story on him in advance of his being inducted into the Hall of Fame later that year. So I flew in that morning and met him at his restaurant downtown. We talked there for a couple hours at the restaurant, and he said, "Come on back to the house. We'll have a barbecue. We'll barbecue some steaks and some ribs." We just had a new house and a new grill put in out there. I said, "That's great." And we went out there, and in the midst of that, we're doing some more interviewing. I said, "Gee, I forgot I have to do this radio show with the station back in St. Louis." So he and his wife, Wendy, postponed dinner for an hour while I did this radio show. Then we had dinner, talked some more. They said, "Let's go back downtown to the restaurant." We went back downtown, had a couple of social sparklers, talked for a couple more hours, and finally about 10 o'clock, we're walking to our cars in the parking lot, and Bob turns to his wife, Wendy, and says, "Wendy, can you believe I've been talking to a reporter for 10 hours? It was hard to believe. And consider this also hard to believe. Besides winning 251 games in his career, Gibson pitched 255 complete games. In the last 20 years, Cardinal pitchers have pitched only 135 complete games.
If you want to know more about a St. Louis sports figure or a particular moment, email the Commish at rhummel@post-dispatch.com.